Welcome back to the channel, and I've got some exciting news here for you. This next build is actually going to be a 2-guitar build, and it is going to be part of a 2-guitar giveaway through Aquatico Water Solutions. There'll be details on the website, which I will put above here, of how you could get an entry to win one of these 2 guitars. So normally when you think of a guitar giveaway, you're thinking of something like this. But if you've seen, any of this channel before, I don't build like that. I build more like this. So as you see, there will be 2 very lucky people to get a chance to get one of these guitars at absolutely no cost to them. So pretty exciting for that. So, look at the website, aquaticosolutions.com. I'm going to put that up here again. And check for eligibility. So I'm going to show you the first one here, how it's coming along. And I showed you on the last video this guy a little bit. So there's the body, what it looks like. The color isn't quite right. I'm actually going to sand this down and get it to more of a true red. I haven't worked much with, or at all, with quilted maple and dyeing of it. So, a couple shots, no big deal. Got to sand it and do that. I'm going to show you the neck again over here. So here we got the neck for it. Right now I temporarily have a piece in here. This one section here actually isn't supported by anything until the neck is glued in, but I want to deal with all my coloring and finishing, and then this neck could actually slide in from the front before gluing, and I can glue all the way to the back of the glue joint and clamp up here as well, so I'll be able to put this together last. So basically you got a back here. I have magnetic closures for the back, so it'll be nice and clean looking. Put the accented maple around both covers there. And so this is going to be guitar 1 in the giveaway, and then guitar 2, it's going to be the same shape. It's not going to be the same color. There's going to be some other aesthetic changes to it, but it's still going to be a Floyd Rose guitar. It's still going to be a dual humbucker. So it's going to be very similar to this in everything except for, color, basically. So we're going to get to the second one after the first one, but now that this is completely at the stage of sanding and finishing, the second one could get started as far as putting the blanks together, starting all the cuts to get it into the proper shape and all the routings right. So that one's going to be joining really soon, and I'm just really excited that both of these guitars are going to be giveaways, and I get to be part of giving these 2 beautiful guitars away. And that will bring us to our next segment, which just happens to be everybody's favorite brand new segment. Well, it's gonna be. So, by now, a lot of you know, I normally go kind of elaborate with the way I do the jack hole. So, on this one, I'm actually thinking of simplifying it. And it's a good reason why I want to simplify it on this one. So, I'm going to show you actually the front first, and I'm going to get a little bit more of a close-up and explain the reasoning. So on this guy, we're working with a quilted maple top. Some of my previous builds, I did that kind of 3D thing where the jack was kind of countersunk in, but it was also like embossed out. At the same, so I had to glue a piece onto the top of it, drill through, and then shape the bottom into it. With how many curls are in a quilted top and everything moving back and forth, and then you'd have like an ellipse shape that would have a hard line in between that, I think wouldn't blend as good as going with a really simple, clean one. And the top is only, I forgot exactly what it was, plus there's going to be sanding. It was less than a 1/4 inch. It was maybe 220 thousandths. There's going to be certain sanding, so even less than that by the end. And you will go into the ash once you're partially in to the recess. So it'll have that as an accent anyway. But that doesn't fix the problem of the reason of why I was doing an insert, and that was to get a perpendicular surface to screw the nut on the back of the barrel clamp. So I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to show you what my solution is and show you how I'm going to go about doing the process. Alright, so first I just pop my cover off, and you could see inside, I mentioned it earlier and said I was going to get back to it. This is an arc that's cut at a 30-degree angle. So when I come through, I had options of where I could do. I didn't know where exactly I wanted the jack to be, but that just gave me a little bit of a swing to play with the placement of it. Then, to figure this out, I made a prototype. I just took a piece of wood and I did my drill and cut the other side at a 30-degree angle, and then I got some measurements from the end of the ellipse to the beginning of where it pops out at, and I got a measurement of the depth of drop that it had. And then I'm working with curves and stuff, so I got to transfer these numbers into an area it's got to be and figure out on the opposite side, and my edges aren't necessarily square because there was no need to. Because of the way that I index with pins. I'm not referencing a straight edge on the outside for anything. So I can't rely on that being straight. So I kind of got to guess a little bit on measurements. So the way I did the process, first off, I just cut a 30-degree angle on a piece of wood, and that's what I used just to put this into the drill press. So I had a straight hole to go into, it broke in free, and that just aligned everything, and it doesn't have stress on the bit going sideways if I was going in on an angle, because I'm going in straight. So I cut the other side, got my measurement for where the center is in relation to this, because my template was made with this one. So I want to do it the same. So if I flip this guy back over, I figured out with the dimensions that I got off of my test piece and figured out where this would have to sit to put this whole thing in the drill press and make it work. And the way it worked with distance to the cavity, I couldn't go diagonal here. So I decided to go with a straight, and I figured out where it's going to work. It's not going to get any interference with any knobs. Got it where I thought looked good, clamped it in place, and then just did like a line of sight where I saw, from being straight, and then, looked at the back and just kind of made sure everything looked good while it was clamped in place, drew a line, so now I know where to align this. So I'm going to put the masking tape on this side. I'm going to do the masking tape super glue, line it right up with those lines, and then we can go to the drill press, and I will show you the cool new bit that I got that is really going to simplify and make this a real easy, clean install. It's just a matter of figuring out the offset to that 30-degree wall that I made in there. So I'm gonna have to do it a couple times to dial it in 100%. I'll figure it out. So first thing, I just want to show you this bit that I'm using. I always thought it'd be cool if I could find something like this. I just wouldn't know what to call it. But it was a 2-stage step drill. Most, when I think of step drills, are all those pyramid-shaped ones. And, you know, every, you know, increment, it gets bigger and then bigger and bigger. So here, this is actually 2 separate dimensions with, you know, a 180-degree flange in between the two. So that's perfect for what we need with this. This one is actually metric. So there is a modification, step 2, but I'll give you the dimensions of this after we drill. But this is what we're drilling here. So just want to show you a close-up of the bit. Okay, so I already put the drill press bed into a 30-degree angle when I did the test piece earlier. So I'm already at 30 degrees. I'll be kind of close. Height-wise, I might have to change a little bit because the thickness of the wood I originally used compared to the thickness of this one, I wanted to, the depth that I got on the other piece, I maximized basically the amount of travel that I have is from the tip of the bit to the collet right here. I'm restricted by that instead of by this. So that was actually like the perfect depth anyway. So I purposely went all the way so I could see how it worked on there. I probably will start out going a little bit less. I'll be most of the way there and I'll take a look at it if I could see without taking that off or not. But I can always go deeper once it's there and it's an established hole. I can go deeper for sure while that's on. So I'm just going to kind of wing it on the depth, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up going just the whole way. So I'm going to clamp this thing up in here real quick. Probably just put it on fast motion because I have to play around with getting everything lined up to the bit. So maybe I'll just get a cool angle for a thing. Okay, so here we go. The tape is holding completely solid. There's no play in this wood at all yet. So that's nice and smooth. I started with a new one because I wanted to be cutting as it introduces into that piece of wood instead of just a collar that goes in. I figured this would be cleaner. It's, you know, slightly, I guess, compressing the fibers of the wood as it's cutting through. You can see we're well into the ash. Actually, I'm gonna take a quick look from the bottom side there because I could see a little bit through the plate. I'm not gonna move the camera. Which angle did I see through? I'm gonna have to move the camera. Okay, it's difficult to see from the back. I'm not even going to try with the camera, but I wasn't through even with the initial size hole yet, so we're going to go deeper. The last time I went all the way until the actual chuck was, I mean, basically touching. All right, we're gonna go a little more. Oh, well, actually, that other part's the only part that makes it through, so of course. How far did I get here? I'm gonna take a quick look again. It's still not through, so we're just gonna go to that full depth again. It seemed to work on the other one. I just rather check, you know. So, that's as deep as that's gonna go. Let me take a look from the back. So I can't actually confirm from the back, but based on the prototype and the calculations that I did, I know it's gonna work. So I could take it off of this now. I just didn't want to, if I got to do any more, like if I needed to get this, I could technically loosen this, drop it, you know, if I needed just another 1/4 inch or something like that, and everything would remain centered, but I'll be good. And let's see how we did. So I'm just gonna unclamp this and I'm gonna meet you back over there. All right, so we're just gonna break the tape real quick and see how it looks. Wow, that's super clean. It's got, cool, it's got enough depth that I'll probably open this side up just so it's, you know, because it's the angle that it's at, I just want to like kind of round that a little bit, and it's always, whenever you do that, it goes fast to get out of the thinness of it, because picture the sharp angle, how thin it is there, it's still pretty thin by the time you're this far out, so you always gotta go a little more than you think. So I think that will work. I gotta see how my depths are, and it is not completely done yet. I was gonna get you some dimensions on that bit and why it's gonna be a solution that's gonna make things a lot simpler, but it's not 100% the right solution yet. I just gotta source out the 100% right bit. But this was cheap and I want to test it out. So I'm gonna grab the bit, we'll get some measurements, and then I'll show you how we finish this one up. So just want to show you a couple quick close-ups. So in the inside of the cavity, that's how it ended up coming out. So that's nice. After I figure out the depths and stuff, I might machine this part back so it actually blends into here. I just wanted to leave myself a little extra, like, kind of safety room, you know, just in case. So I'll probably smooth that all the way in by the looks of what that is. So this sidewall transition will just transition into all of a sudden being at 30 degrees instead of 90 degrees. So let me show you the front. So came out super clean. You can see shadows. You get different angles. You can see how the accent works with the well, my camera's kind of spinning on its own, but you can see how it works with the ash underneath it. Looks really cool, super clean. Wow, if you look way in there, if the shadow's gonna work, there's actually a little bit of a pinstripe that comes from the layer of where these show up in there. That's kind of cool. I'll just hold it there for a sec in case you can see it. So we're gonna talk about this bit. All right, so here's the bit. It's a metric bit. It was 12 and 8, I believe. So in the description, it said 433 thousandths about. When I measure it and I check it, I get really about 435. Barrel jack, they tell you to do a 1/2 inch, which we know is 500, but really what it is 465. So I'd like to be over that anyway, but really we're only like 30 thousandths away. So to take a set of bits that is incremented in 64ths, I could just take the smallest one that I have that still takes material away, and I'll have to do like 1 or 2 or 2 or 3 steps of that, so it'll be real easy to keep it completely straight in there because I'm not really taking off any material, and it's just guiding in that inside step that's deeper. The outside step that you see there comes out as with a measurement of it was about exactly 700, right? I'm showing 699. But all you really need here is 625. So you got 75 thousandths extra. If you go too tight with this, you have problems with certain cords. The end of the cord is bigger than this. So I tested this one out. I mean, I don't have the jack in there right now, but just putting this in there and you look, there's plenty of room around the cord right there. I'm going to end up having to do a little bit of sanding anyway, so some of these sharp edges will be gone, and that'll open it even a bit more. So I won't have any problem with this size, so I don't need to alter that, that 12 millimeter size that was there. So once I open up that smaller part to get the barrel in there, then I could insert it. I could see how far it sticks out the back to see if I need to take more material out of that cavity cover or not, but cleanliness wise I probably will anyway. But we'll drill this hole bigger, we'll see how it fits in the back, we'll see how straight we are to that flange, and see how it tightens up. So check it out. Alright, so number 1 here. Alright, I already did this on the test piece, so I know I have to go up. So I'm not even going to check that one. Alright, so I'll just take my jack here, throw it in there. It went in actually really smooth. On the test piece, I went up one more size. So where we come out here, I could leave it exactly like that. I have plenty of threads. And I might want to just actually put that in there just to see how well it tightens up. So let me get a good angle. So yeah, so it's in there. I know with the way the shadows are going weird, but you can see it in from the front. And then if I flip it over, it tightens up just fine on there. And I mean, there's a little bit of a gap on that side, barely, but with the lock washer, the way it's crushing it, it's just crushing a little more on this side than that side to the actual like tabs of the lock. So I wouldn't have to do anything, but I could just slightly sand more in one direction than the other and get it perfectly flat. But I think I'm going to cut that anyway back, and then, you know, any slight modification to make it perfect. So that basically explains how that jack hole got there.